He was he really helped during the election with his endorsement. He felt strongly. Look, we had one problem. I didn't want to have everybody have to have an electric car, and he makes electric cars, and I think we get along well.
On affordability, when you talk about affordability, is going forward, are the American people, do you believe, getting impatient with the reforms that you're making? They talked about
I think they're getting fake news from guys like you. Look, affordability is a hoax that was started by Democrats who caused the problem of pricing, and they didn't end it. They lost in a landslide. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything. You take a look at districts, it was 2,750 to 525, because that was an affordability problem. We brought it down. Look at energy. Look at the gasoline price. That's like the simplest, and it's the biggest, because if energy comes down, everything comes down. That's the way it works.
Typing them. So instead, I dictate them using WhisperFlow while walking. When I'm walking, my brain just works differently. Ideas start pouring out.
But ChatGPT's native voice dictation can't handle my stream of consciousness rambling. WhisperFlow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from these WhisperFlow walking sets, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT using WhisperFlow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The outputs that I get from from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate to ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT using Whisper Flow. Rich, polished, perfectly structured prompts that unlock ChatGPT's true potential. The output that I get from these Whisper Flow walking sessions, Flow cleans it up instantly. Here's what I'd type if I were at my desk. Here's what it looks like when I dictate ChatGPT. And here's what it looks like when I dictate Chat
Eliminate
Cataract. Do you know the clinic?
I heard about it, and
Everyone
I'm
knows
hearing
about
it more now,
Everyone
frankly.
knows
It
about
wasn't at the top of my list.
How are the
It's a
doctors?
very unusual
Best in
question, I
class.
think,
Just
but I assume
thank you.
you're from the area, and to you it's a very important question, and to me it is also, because people are being killed.
they
I
look
will
up
say
to me
this,
properly?
Iraq
Yes,
has
with love
been
and
much
care.
different in
Can
terms
they do
of
LASIK surgery?
us
Yes,
than they were
easily,
prior
with
to
the
us
best
taking out
machines.
the nuclear
Will
capability
surgery
of
take a
Iran.
lot of time?
You know,
It will be
Iran
faster than your delivery.
has gone
Will
down
it
many,
fit in
many
my
steps
budget?
in terms
It was
of
within
its
mine,
fear
madam.
factor.
But where
They
is
were the
it?
In
bully
front of
of
the bank.
the Middle
There are
East, and they're
temples.
really not the
Behind
bully
the
of the
park,
Middle East
above our
anymore.
coaching
And,
center, next to the coffee shop,
Iraq
at the
was
next
being
signal.
bullied by Iran.
What is the name?
We had a president that thought it was brilliant to blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East for the bully of the Middle East, and they're really not the
Behind
bully.
the
But
park,
Iraq,
above our coaching center, next to
the
the
day we
coffee
hit
shop,
Iraq,
at the
we
next
two
signal.
bombers and knocked out
What is the name?
and obliterated presidency, and thought it was brilliant to blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East for the bully of the Middle East, and not the
Behind the
bully. But
park,
Iraq,
above our coaching center, next to
the
the
day we
coffee
hit
shop,
Iraq,
at the
we
next
two
signal.
bombers and knocked out
What is the name?
and obliterated presidency, and thought it was brilliant to blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East for the bully of the Middle East, and not the bully. But Iraq,
above our coaching Next to the
Then we
coffee
hit
shop.
Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out and obliterated, as you see in these immediate blow them up, and they blew them up, and all of a sudden, instead of having a power that was basically equal to Iran, they had Iran ruling the Middle East, the Middle East. But Iraq, then we hit Iraq with B-2 bombers and knocked out the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up. Instead of having the power that is basically equal to ruling the base. But Iraq, they began to rapidly bomb and knock out and obliterate these cities and blow them up.
Thank you. भारत के संकल्प में हर
All of
महिला
you
की
are
होगी बराबर की
backbone of America, and you really are the backbone of America's air power. And in recent weeks, you've been working to deter Venezuelan drug traffickers, of which there are many. Of course, there aren't too many coming in by sea anymore, you probably noticed that. From sending their poisons into the United States, where they kill hundreds of thousands of people a year. But we're going to take care of that situation. We're already doing a lot. We've almost stopped, about 85% stopped by sea. You probably noticed that.
स्वास्थ्य लाभ के
People aren't
तहत
wanting to
3500
be
तक की
delivering by
मेडिकल
sea.
बोनस की गारंटी
And we'll be
नई
starting
श्रम
to
संहिताओं और
stop them
नारी
by
शक्ति के
land
साथ
also.
बढ़ेगा
The land is
और
easier.
बनेगा आत्मनिर्भर
But that's
भारत
going to start very soon. We warned them, stop sending poison to our country. Stop. We also have the 85% defense squad in Vandenberg. That Space Force base in California to be delivering by sea. By Captain Ryan and we'll be starting to stop them by land also. Thank you very much. The land is easier.
आत्मनिर्भर
But
भारत
that's going to start very soon. We maintain American dominance on the high poison to our country. Stop. We also have the 85% defense squad in Vandenberg. Space Force base in California to be delivering by sea. By Captain Ryan and we'll start stop Coast Guard land. Thank you very much. The land is easier. The Coast Guard now too. That's going to start very soon. Maintain American dominance on the high poison to our country. Stop. We also have the 85% defense squad in Vandenberg. Space Force base in California to be delivering by sea. By Captain Ryan and we'll Alexis Wild at the helm. Coast Guard land. Thank you very much. The land is easier. Last month now too. That's going to stay you maintain American dominance on the high poison to our country. Stop. We also have the 85% defense squad in Vandenberg. Space Force base in California to be delivering by sea. By Captain Ryan and we'll Alexis Wild at the helm. Coast Guard land. Thank you very much. The land is easier. Last month. Great job. That's going to stay you maintain American dominance on the high poison to our country. Stop. We also have the 85% defense squad in Vandenberg. Space Force base in California to be delivering by sea. By Captain Ryan and we'll Alexis Wild at the helm. Coast Guard land. Thank you very much. The land is easier. Last month. Great job. That's going to stay you maintain American dominance on the high poison to our country. Stop. We also have the 85% defense squad in Vandenberg. Space Force
sailors, Camp Lejeune, and my wife and my daughter and my 2 sons were able to meet the First Lady and get a picture with her. She was truly gracious, and we really appreciate the time that she spent with the Marines and sailors and men. A whole lot of people down in North Carolina, sir.
Thank you very much. And she had enjoyed it, and she mentioned that, meeting your family. And she said those people are in good shape. They're in very good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you very much.
A whole lot of people.
Captain Berger, do you guys have any questions for the
Thank you
President?
very much. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th birthday.
And she said those people are in good shape.
Here in a few days.
They're
So
in very
I wonder
good
if I can
shape.
get
I don't know if
happy
she's
birthday
referring to
cake
me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight.
Catherine,
But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. Very much. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th birthday.
And she said those people are in good shape.
Here in a few days.
They're in
So I
very
wonder
good
if I can
shape.
get
I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she said those people are in good shape.
Very good shape.
I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th birthday.
And she said those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th birthday.
And she said those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th birthday.
And she said those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she
birthday.
said those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she said
birthday.
those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she
birthday.
said those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she said
birthday.
those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she said those people are in good shape.
birthday.
I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she said those people are in good shape.
birthday.
I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it.
I do have one selfish one, sir. My daughter's 9th
And she said those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know. That could be a little slight. But she was very impressed with everything she saw. Thank you, very much. Hero and a great man, highly respected. Happy birthday, and take good care of him. And she had enjoyed it. And she said those people are in good shape. I don't know if she's referring to me when she says that, because I don't know.
Gracias.
Afghanistan situation was a mess. It should have never taken place. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision, and we would have left from Bagram. The whole Afghanistan, when you let the people come in by the thousands, it should have never taken place. Thousands. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. The whole, as you can imagine, when you let the people come in by the thousands, it should have never taken place. Thousands. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. Outstanding as the whole, as you can imagine, when you let the people come in by the thousands, it should have never taken place. Thousands. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. Outstanding as the whole, as you can imagine, when you let the people come in by the thousands, it should have never taken place. Thousands. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. Outstanding as the whole, well, we're looking at when you let the people come in by the thousands, it should have never taken place. Thousands. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. Outstanding as the whole, we have Afghanistan, Russia, we have thousands and record-setting locations. We're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. Outstanding as the whole, we have Afghanistan, Russia, we have thousands and record-setting locations. We're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. We have Afghanistan, Russia, we have thousands and record-setting locations. We're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. We have Afghanistan, Russia, we have thousands and record-setting locations. We're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. We have Afghanistan, Russia, we have thousands and record-setting locations. We're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. We have Afghanistan, Russia, we have thousands and record-setting locations. We're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision. And we would have left from Bagram. We have Afghanistan, Russia, we have thousands and record-setting locations. We're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and
Thank you.
president, and I will tell you, the president standing right up here loves you. I respect you and I love you. And I'm giving everything I have to make sure that when you get home, you find an America that is safe and proud and sovereign and free. One service member who reminds us that we're working for you and for everybody and for our country is Chief Warrant Officer Will Hightower, who serves on the George Washington in the all-important DEC department. Do you know what the DEC department is? I have no idea. But they do. In April 2024, Will sailed away from Norfolk, leaving behind his wonderful wife, Megan, their precious 6-year-old daughter, and their 1-year-old son. In the past 12 months, he has only been home for 3 weeks total, 3 weeks. An enormous sacrifice, very tough on the family, but an experience everyone on the ship really knows very well. In February, Will's tour will come to an end, and he will finally be going home just in time for his daughter's birthday. So, Will, I want to thank you together with all of those people that go through the same thing. I want to really thank enormous sacrifice, very tough on the family, but an experience everyone on the ship really knows very well. In February, Will's tour will come to an end, and he will finally be going home just in time for his daughter's birthday. That's fantastic. So, Will, I want to thank you together with all of those people that go through the total thing. I want to really
Does your wife still love you? Yes.
You still love your wife? But an experience every day. That's really knows very well.
So that's good.
In February, Will's tour will come to an end. Good? He will finally be going home just in time for his daughter's
your wife.
birthday. That's fantastic.
And just
So
in
Will, I want to
conclusion,
thank you
every
together.
sailor
Does your wife
here
still
today
love
is
you?
here
But
to
I like to see
so
a valid
through
thing.
it.
I want to really
Does your wife
thank
still
all
love
the
you?
sacrifices
Yes.
and the
You still
love
love your
for
wife?
mankind's voyage.
Every
Well,
day,
ship
that's
really
good.
knows
Okay,
very
that's
well.
good. So that's
In February, Will's tour will come to an end.
2.5 cents.
He will finally be going
That's
home.
good.
to
Say hello to
the
your daughter,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
And your wife.
First, it's Commander-in-Chief who gave this ship its storied name, its righteous soul, and its timeless motto. First in war, first in peace. Very famous phrase. George Washington. After 250 years, that is exactly what our country is today. It's first in war, first in peace, first in wealth, first in power, first in science, first in spirit, and first in freedom. And we went through 4 bad years, but now America will always be first again. If you have the right person up here, if you have somebody that understands a lot of different subjects, we're going to be bigger, better, stronger, and more important, really, frankly, to the world. Japan respects us. If you see what's going on all over the world, they're respecting us again. They respect us like never before. The treatment they gave me all over as I go around to different countries is great, but it's really a respect for me, but it's a bigger respect for our country. They respect our country again. They didn't respect our country just a few years ago. From Boston Harbor to Hampton Roads, and from Caribbean Sea to the Red Sea, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, and from the Persian Gulf to what is now known as the Gulf of America. Isn't it nice? They say it now routinely. I heard the news today. The Gulf of America, weather is wonderful. They don't say it with a smile. It's called the Gulf of America. How did that happen, right? And it took me, for many years I said, why is it called the Gulf of Mexico when we seem to have the shore? Well, we do. We have 92% of the shoreline. So I said, when we make it back, not if, when, too big to rig. We made it too big to rig. I said, get out and vote. Too big to rig. Make it that way. I said, I'm going to change it. And one of the first things I did is I changed it. Nobody could even fight it. They tried. We got sued all over the place. We won every suit. And it's now officially the Gulf of America. Isn't that nice? But our sailors have written honor, greatness, and triumph into the pages of history. What you're doing is incredible, and it's an incredible time for our country. On gun decks and flight decks and torpedo rooms and cockpits, the men and women of the Navy have poured out their blood and sweat and tears to defend the land of the free and the home of the brave. They've crossed icy channels, leapt from burning wreckage, stormed into frigid waters, soared into deadly skies, and laid down their lives to ensure the survival of liberty. Now, all of us here today carry on that noble mission, and no matter what challenge comes our way, no matter what danger we face, we hoist our great American flag very, very high. We race into the waves and we rally to that immortal battle cry of the American sailor. Damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, right? Together with our incredible Japanese allies and all of our allies all over the world, we stand strong, we stand proud, we will stand taller than we've ever stood before, and we will be freer and braver and more brilliant than ever before. And we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. And I want to thank everybody at the USS George Washington and the U.S. Forces Japan. God bless our military. God bless Japan. God bless the United States of America. And God bless our Navy. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Set a record. We have both the President of Finland and we have the Prime Minister of Finland, and that's never, I don't ever remember having a President and a Prime Minister, but that's a great honor, and thank you very much both for being here. And Alex, we've been friends for a long time, and I've heard wonderful things about your Prime Minister also, and we have a big order coming up. We're buying icebreakers, we're building them together for the most part. We're doing 4 over there and 7 over here. And we negotiated a pretty tough price, I think. But I assume you're going to do very well. But what you're doing is you're going to be teaching us about the icebreaker business very, very strong. We only have one icebreaker in all of that millions and millions of acres. We only have one icebreaker. And other countries have more than we do. And we're buying the finest icebreakers in the world. And Finland's known for making them. They sort of have almost a monopoly on icebreakers, if you think about it. Nobody makes them like Finland. I've heard that for a long time. So we're going to have a total of 11, and it's been really an honor working on it. It was very important. We were making them, but we didn't make them right. By the time we finish, we're going to make them maybe better than you, but at least as well. But probably not better, but at least as well. So I appreciate both of you being here. It's an honor to have both of you. Really tremendous reputations, and it's a great country. Thank you very much. Alex,
thank you, Mr. President. I mean, I remember our first conversation just after you had been elected in November. The first thing you mentioned was icebreakers. We need them, and then we've been working on this issue ever since. And we're happy to announce that we'll basically building 11 icebreakers together, 4 of them in Finland, in joint endeavors, and then 7 of them here. And I think the reason that we've landed in Finland is that 60% of the world's icebreakers are built in Finland. 80% are designed. We've been building them for over 100 years. And speaking of price and time, I think we're the country that can provide them half the price and half the time. that others haven't. And I think it's a huge strategic decision by the President as well, because we all know that the Arctic is important strategically, militarily, and in terms of the economy as well. And now we can work on this together. Finland is a strange country in the sense that we are probably the only country in the world where all the ports are frozen in the winter. And that's why we built the know-how in icebreakers. Now we can work on this together. I remember the first conversation we had, you mentioned the fact that Russia has 40 and you need to start ramping this up, and this is an indication that we're going to do it, and we're going to do it together. I also think that this strengthens our bilateral relations. I know I come from a small country, but for us to be able to work together with you is extremely important from a strategic perspective as well. So we appreciate the cooperation, and we're going to deliver the first one 2028.
Good. Just a little bit before a big event.
Yeah.
So, that's great. And actually, it's true. I came here and they were building an icebreaker. They had no idea what they were doing. They had no idea how much it was going to cost. They knew nothing. And we have our Secretary of the Navy right over here. And we're working on a lot more than icebreakers. We're working on some very, very big and important ships. But they had no idea what they were doing. And I was with you, and I ended up meeting you and knowing you, and I heard about Finland and their icebreakers, and I said, do me a favor, would you have your people take a look at what these people are doing? And it came out that, just as I thought, they had no idea what they were doing. And we got involved, and we ended up, we need these ships very badly, because we have a lot of territory, more than anybody. And so I'm very honored to have this deal, and thank you very much. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great partnership. And it's a great honor to have you, Mr. Prime Minister. Would you like to say something, please?
First, Mr. President, thank you very much. It's a great honor to be here today. And as a Prime Minister of Finland, I want to say that this deal it's very important to Finland and our economy, because our economy is suffering a lot because of Russian aggression in Ukraine. And this deal, it means investments, it means jobs, and jobs means hope. And that's why this is so important. And I want to thank your leadership on this deal and this issue. Thank you very much.
So you've been affected very badly by the war going on, the ridiculous war going on, right?
Yes, because we have to close the border with Russia. We have 1,300 kilometers common border with them, and affects the atmosphere in Finland, in investments, and that's why we need good news. Our people need hope.
Right. So your border is closed.
Yes, closed.
And that's because you have so many Russians trying to get in?
Yes, they started to push illegal migrants to our border. That's why we were forced to close it.
And people also that don't want to go into the military, I guess, trying to come through.
Yeah, some of them are escaping. Fortunately, on our side, we don't have that problem. In Finland,
no, you have a great military.
We have compulsory military service, and as I always say, we have 900,000 men and women who've done it, including myself and the Prime Minister. We have 200.
And you've been fighting Russia for a long time. So how many years have you been indirectly fighting Russia?
Well, put it this way, we have managed our relationship since the 1300s with about 30 skirmishes, but it's been very peaceful at our border after World War II. Yeah, but it's been peaceful at our border since the Winter War and the War of Continuation. But, I mean, a lot of it is because we actually have a very large military. It's the biggest in Europe, together with Turkey, Ukraine and Poland. We have over 60 F-18s. We just bought 64 F-35s. We'll roll out the first one in Texas in December. We have the biggest artillery in Europe, together with Poland. And as I always say, we don't have it because we're worried about Stockholm.
Well, you really have proportionately, I think, the largest military in the world, proportionately.
It's quite big, yes, I have to admit. But, you know, we have it for defense purposes and also to build a deterrence. And it's worked, and I think that's one of the reasons that our relationship is so good as well. We have the Defense Cooperation Agreement with you. Right. We're new allies in NATO. Our defense expenditure is going north of 3%. We work very closely with you and the rest of our allies. And you know, when you push the ceiling of defense expenditure in NATO to 5%, you can imagine that a country like Finland was quite pleased with that, because that means that all of the allies have to bring up their defense expenditure, and you basically increased our security just with that decision in The Hague. And I have to admit that having been to my first NATO summit in the summer of 2024, if someone would have told me that you will move from 2% to 5% after Trump enters, I would have said, go see a doctor. But you know,
well, they had to do it, and you were great about it. Spain has not been. Spain is the one that didn't do it, and so I think you people are going to have to start speaking to Spain. The only one that didn't do it, the only NATO country that didn't do it is Spain, and you'll figure what that's all about, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll work, and I think with the leadership also, Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, I think, you know, there are a lot of commitments that have to take place, and this, of course, is going to also increase industrial defense exchanges. I think we buy 4 times more military material here from the U.S., and I think it's an essential part of our whole military setup in Europe. And it's good to be working on this together. But there's one thing that I wanted to mention also. I want to congratulate you for what we have seen in the past 24 hours in Gaza.
Thank you.
I think it's a historic deal. I went through the 20 points. It's almost like the best of record. You really see all the key elements. And if someone would have said a few weeks back that you and your team are able to push us to a position where there will be a ceasefire, an exchange of prisoners, hostages, and then a pullback, I would not have believed it. But it's this is what diplomacy is at its best, and I think it's a potentially huge deal. So congratulations to you and your team.
Peace in the Middle East.
Peace in the Middle East, yeah.
And every country came together. Every single country came together, and people are shocked by it. But it's an amazing situation. Nobody thought it was going to happen. Thank you very much, and you've been of help too. You help always, but we are really working more closely together, having to do with Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that would have been easier because that would be number 8 for me, number 8. And I would have thought the Russia deal maybe would have been one of the easier ones. And unfortunately, last week they had over 7,000 soldiers die unnecessarily. So it's a terrible thing, but I think we'll be getting there hopefully soon.
Yeah, probably we'll go, I mean, or you will be going piece by piece. I mean, there are only so many agreements that you can get done, and I think this one will be the next big one. Now, of course, this one needs to stick, and I'm sure it will because the incentives are all there, and then we'll continue to work. I mean, the last time I was here in the Oval Office was with the other European leaders in August, and I think we did a lot of good advancement there on security arrangements. I think you pushed us Europeans hard not to buy oil and gas from Russia, which I think is a very correct decision. Europe just put down its 19th sanctions package. I think Russia is actually right now, both economically and militarily, not in a very strong place. And I think it's because of the commitments that we've made to Ukraine. So, you know, day by day on this one.
Yeah, we're going to get it worked out. Questions, please?
Question for President Stubb. You have time and again said that one should not underestimate Mr. Trump's negotiating ability. Do you personally believe that Mr. Trump deserves to win the Nobel Peace Prize tomorrow?
Oh, well, I think that's probably a decision that comes from the Nobel Committee. And my take is that there are 2 key pieces that have to be solved in the big picture. One is in the Middle East, and we're seeing the results of that. And then the other one is between Russia and Ukraine. And once those are solved, you know, and I don't see any impediments to it.
Nominate Mr. Trump next year if he doesn't win?
This year? I think probably the best nomination would be coming from Zelensky and then the King of Jordan. Those would be 2 that would come. But I think you have to, I mean, my experience with the Nobel Peace Prize comes from Martti Ahtisaari, the former president of Finland. He got it in 2008, and he got it because he negotiated 3 peace agreements on 3 different continents. Namibia in Africa, Kosovo, Serbia in Europe, and then Aceh in Indonesia. And his message was always that when you do a peace agreement, the key is that it looks like an equal match, that the big guy doesn't win over the small guy, and vice versa. But I have to say that the track record of the President of the United States in the past 7 months, 8 months is rather impressive.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. First of all, thank you, all of you, in behalf of the State of Israel, for everything that you're doing for my country. I want to know, how do you see the Middle East in a year from now under your leadership? And if you see maybe option for normalization between Israel and Saudi Arabia?
I think it's going to be great. I think it's the hostages will be coming back Monday or Tuesday. I'll probably be there. I hope to be there, and we're planning on leaving sometime Sunday, and I look forward to it. And everybody I see is celebrating in Israel, but they're celebrating in many other countries too. A lot of the Muslim and Arab countries, they're celebrating. Everybody's celebrating. Everybody loves the deal. So it's a great honor to have been working on it, and as you know, it's all finalized and done. We've had a lot of terrifically talented people. We've had tremendous support from UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar has been unbelievable. Egypt, as you know, and Jordan, Indonesia. I mean, it's I don't want to leave anybody out. Just so many different countries. It's been incredible. Nobody's seen anything like it. So I think in a year from now, it's going to be great. I think it's going to be great.
Mr. President, how do you rate your chances of winning the Nobel Peace Prize tomorrow?
Well, I don't know. Look, I made 7 deals, and now it's 8. Solved the wars, one going for 31 years, one going 34 years, one going 35 years, one going 10 years. I made 7 deals. This would be number 8. The one I thought that I was going to make, and I think we will probably, is because it's a ridiculous war. It's a horrible war. The worst since World War II. If you look at the people doing is Russia, Ukraine. I think we'll do that too. We've a lot of reasons for them to do it, and I think they'll be coming to the table pretty soon. But this is the biggest of them all. This is a big one. Although I think India and Pakistan is very big. 2 nuclear nations. I made that. I did that based on trade and because of the tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, you wouldn't have been able to do it. But I said, if you guys are going to fight, I'm putting 100% tariffs on each of you. And they immediately stopped fighting, and that was going to go nuclear. You know, that was back and forth. So I know one thing. I don't know what they're going to do really, but I know this: that nobody in history has solved 8 wars in a period of 9 months, and I've stopped 8 wars. So that's never happened before. But they'll have to do what they do. Whatever they do is fine. I know this. I didn't do it for that. I did it because I saved a lot of lives. And that's the thing that bothers me so much about the Russia-Ukraine. 7,000 people are dying a week. Young soldiers. They're almost all soldiers of Ukraine and Russia. So in theory, it doesn't affect us, no, but it's a terrible thing. And we'll get that solved too. But nobody has ever done 8 wars. Nobody's done 8 wars in 30 years, let alone 9 months.
Are you going to step up the pressure? Are you going to step up the pressure for a Ukraine deal?
Yeah, we are stepping up the pressure. We're stepping it up together. We're all stepping it up. NATO's been great. The leader of NATO, as you know, Mark, has been fantastic, I think, and he's a fantastic guy. And they are stepping it up. And we're selling a lot of weapons to NATO, and that's going, I guess, to Ukraine for the most part. That's up to them. But they're buying weapons from the U.S. We make the greatest weapons in the world. You buy our planes and a lot of our equipment. And you have a big force, actually. You have a tremendous force of equipment. So I think we'll get that one done too. Yeah.
Mr. President Obama got it for way less.
I want to finish meeting.
Mr. President, Mr. I'm from Finland. Mr. President, I'm from Finland.
Yeah.
Okay?
He's all right.
You're from Finland. You look great. Go ahead.
President, you are buying icebreakers from Finland.
Yeah.
But what if Russia and Vladimir Putin attacks Finland? Would you defend Finland?
I would. Yes, I would. They're a member of NATO. I would. They're great people, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to do that. I think the chances of that are very, very small. But it's very interesting because you have a very big military relative to your size. You have a very powerful military, one of the best. And but certainly we will be there to help.
Thank you.
Okay, please.
Mr. President, thank you. We have a bit order, as our president said. How would you exactly defend Finland? And yeah, thank you.
Say what?
How would you defend Finland?
Vigorously.
Can I just add on that? We're very pleased with the fact that we have so much training going on with American soldiers right now. So they're getting experience from Arctic conditions, and we're integrating our militaries together, working not only through the DCA agreement, but other ways as well. We see that day to day in the work that we do, and it's working well.
Okay. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, thank you. How do
Where are
see
you
the-
from?
I'm from Finland too.
Only Finns here.
You have a lot of
a lot of Finns.
It's very impressive.
So, Mr.
I like them
President,
better than our reporters.
So how do you see the situation in the Arctic developing? Are there going to be any mutual plans for Finland and U.S.?
Well, we will. I mean, we have a lot of relationships together. I mean, mostly buying our military equipment. They buy a lot of it. They have an order, I guess, 60 planes, 64 F-35s, and many other things too. It's a big order. Big countries don't order that many planes. You know, it's
10 million.
You have a lot of aircraft, a lot of great military. We make the best military equipment. They buy a lot from us, so it's very good. We're going to work together very closely with Finland and with NATO. We have a very good relationship. As you know, I requested that they pay 5%, not 2%, and most people thought that was not going to happen, and it happened virtually unanimously. We had one laggard. It was Spain. Spain. You have to call them and find why are they a laggard, and they're doing well too. You know, the funny thing, because of a lot of the things we've done, they're doing fine. They have no excuse not to do this, but that's all right.